This is my brand new fully loaded Mac Mini, except for one feature. It only has 512 gigabytes of storage, and it's gonna be my main YouTube editing machine, and that's not gonna be good enough. So in this video, I'm gonna be upgrading and fully setting it up to replace my base model Mac Mini from a few years ago. Before we get into it, I just want to mention that a very small percentage of people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, but subscribing is completely free and it's a great way to support my channel. Plus, I upload a new Apple video every single week. And if subscribing's not your thing, liking the video helps out a lot too. All right, time for the best part. Oh yeah. And there we go. And there we have it. This is the M4 Pro, the second tier upgrade of the M4 Pro. So it has a couple more CPU cores, I think, and a couple more GPU cores. And it's got 48 gigs of RAM, which is the highest spec available now because they discontinued the 64 gigabyte RAM version due to memory shortages and stuff like that. But this computer has been really great for me on the base model with just 16 gigs of storage, and I've been running off of an external drive. Now that I've been doing that on the base model for a few years, I feel confident enough that this machine is great that I wanted to get a fully loaded one to continue making YouTube videos, because now I'm outputting so many YouTube videos so frequently that I'm actually kind of seeing a bit of a bottleneck in terms of my RAM and my export time. So hoping to get an increase on both of those things in terms of multitasking and on export time using this machine. So let's go ahead and crack it open here. Perfect. And there we go. It looks just like my other one. Feels very similar. So, not sure what I'm gonna do with my other one now that I have this one, but it was time for an upgrade. The other one served me very well, but it was time for an upgrade. It's just weird seeing it, you know, all fresh and new like this, and this thing will render hundreds of videos for me. Hundreds and hundreds of videos. It doesn't even know how many videos it's about to render. Okay, let's get the power cable out as well. So this is the first element, and then the second element is this, which is a drive that upgrades the storage. And it should have the tools included that I need to upgrade it. I've also never done this upgrade. I've never even looked at how hard it is, so we're just gonna do it in this video. Okay, it appears to not come with the tools, it just comes with the drive, but that's fine. It's kind of a seedy place on Amazon, but I figured if I buy it on Amazon, they have pretty lenient return policy, so if it doesn't end up being what I thought it was or as fast as it should be, then I can return it very easily. But we will have to check that right now. Check out these scissors. These are literally my elementary school scissors. My mom wrote my name on there. So yeah, I've been using these my whole life. They're incredibly dull, but they get the job done. All right. Okay, yeah, it's quite small. Wow, that's so small. Look at that. So it looks like we've got some like heat dissipation paper on top of there, but looks like I can see the indentations here. We've got 2 NANDs here and probably 2 more NANDs right there, so 1 terabyte on each of those. And then I think this is the controller. I'm not entirely sure, but this should be very similar to the drive that's in here, but this one is 512 gigs, this one is 4,000 gigs. So let's just put that back in here for now, and you guys will just see me magically open this up, but now I gotta go look at a guide to figure out how to crack this thing open without breaking it. So I'll be right back. Okay, I was worried about this part because this is the part that's just really weird because it's no screws, it's just getting this thing open. So I've got the thing stuck in there, which is step 1, and then slide the pick along the bottom cover until you feel it snag a pin. Okay. 3. Got 4. And then we can't lift it up because there's a cable connecting. Let me find out where it is. Okay, we can see the cable down there. Perfect. Do we just leave it propped up like that? Let's do it. Yep. So we're gonna tilt it. Let's keep that propped up with this box. You guys, I actually have the right screwdrivers heads. I have so many screwdriver heads and I have more over here. It's just sometimes a lot. Okay, 2 small screws. Guys, we're almost there. Still connected by a wire. I'm gonna do something you shouldn't do, but can you use a screwdriver for this? There we go. That's the internal SSD. Looks like that. This is internal, this is new. Look very similar. Right. It's really in there, it's really in there. Okay, don't do what I do. Do not use a screwdriver in there. I just don't have anything better. So just gonna really tighten that down because I really don't want that to go anywhere. Because that will not be fun. Not going back, it's because this goes back this way. Yes. This way. Because I bought the cheapest Mac Mini before for $4.99. Just because I wasn't sure if my YouTube's even gonna work. But now it's kind of working, so I feel like justified in getting a real machine specifically for it. Oh, that's really satisfying. Getting my fingerprints all over it. There we go. How long did that take me? 27 minutes? That's not too bad. What did iFixit say? How long was that supposed to take? I'm not like a pro repair guy. I get really freaked out, so I go slow. If I did this again, I bet I could do it in like half the time. That really wasn't too bad. It says 30 to 45 minutes on iFixit, and I did it in 27. So I'm above average, guys. I'm above average. All right, let's put this back in here. We're gonna hold on to this because I might have screwed something up. So always good to have the original drive just in case in the box. And now we're gonna use my other Mac Mini to plug this one in and restore it using Apple Configurator, I believe is the plan. Cut to that. I gotta get set up for that first though. This went really smooth. Let's just hope this thing boots. Okay, so here's the setup. Let me just explain all this so it makes sense to you guys, because it's barely making sense to me, okay? So this monitor and this keyboard and mouse are connected to this Mac Mini. That's my original Mac Mini, but I need it for this next step. This is my MacBook Neo, and I'm just using it to keep myself sane with information that I need. And then what I'm about to do is I'm about to plug this keyboard and this mouse into this Mac Mini. Because what we're gonna do, so we're gonna put this Mac Mini in DFU mode, and then I'm gonna connect this CalDigit Thunderbolt 5 cable from this Mac Mini to this Mac Mini, and then I'll use an app called Apple Configurator 2 to install macOS on this new SSD, which currently does not have macOS on it. And then this Mac Mini will be connected to this monitor, and we'll have this keyboard and mouse plugged into it. I also heard that the DFU mode will fail if you don't have a keyboard and mouse plugged into it. So, all right, so we're gonna get Apple Configurator right now, and then we have the keyboard and mouse that are plugged into the front of that thing. And then once we get Apple Configurator open, let's agree. And we're gonna click get started. So obviously no connected devices. So we're gonna connect to this Mac Mini next, but there's a bit of a process. So I will show you guys how it all works. So I have the power cable here, which I'm about to connect, and I can't connect it yet because I have to hold down the power button. Okay, so next we're gonna take this CalDigit Thunderbolt 5 Pro cable, and that is quite short. So I might have to reconfigure this whole setup. This is kind of driving me insane, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's just connect the power. Let's just connect the power first. So the way to put this thing in DFU mode is to hold the power button while you connect it to power until the light on the front flashes orange. So we're gonna hold the power button, connect it, and there we go. It's flashing orange. It's kind of hard to see. I have a lot of lights on in here for the YouTube video, of course. So now it's in DFU mode, so you can kind of bring it over here. This is so cooked, bro. Okay, so now we can connect this cable and hopefully this just works. I knew this would be a process, but it's a lot of cables and a lot of BS. Which is kind of just how it goes with Apple stuff sometimes. All right, there we go. Oh shoot, it's working. I mean, obviously we see something going on here. Let me just consult my guide to make sure that I'm doing this the right way. Okay, so here we are in Finder. We're gonna restore the Mac, click open. Yes, okay. It's working. It's finally working. Okay, and by finally, I mean I'm just using the exact same software I'm running, so I don't have to update the Mac that I'm using right now. Extracting software should be pretty quick because there is no software running on it at all because it's a blank SSD. Well, the good news is I must have installed the SSD correctly because this whole process seems to be working. This is cool. I've never actually done this, I don't think, with any Mac. It keeps ejecting and reconnecting though. I also have a mouse and keyboard wired connected to it. Oh, let's go. I forgot that I have it plugged into this monitor and it just showed up there. Okay, and the mouse and keyboard are connected. I've heard I was on like the Mac Rumors forums or Reddit or something, and it was saying that if you don't have a mouse and keyboard connected, you'll get a weird error every time you try to restore it. And people spent like hours until they accidentally happened to have a mouse and keyboard connected to it, and then it just worked. So I'm going to be doing that now. And hopefully we don't get any errors because we have everything connected to it the way it wants to be. I'm not using a Thunderbolt display. I'm using HDMI, and I'm using a Thunderbolt 5 cable for maximum transfer speed, and then I'm using the Apple peripherals plugged into it the way it would expect them to be. A lot of times, if you're using non-Apple cables or non-Apple devices or accessories, sometimes it doesn't play very well when you're trying to do repair work or upgrade work on Macs, which is super lame and weird and annoying. But I've been through this road a lot with various iPhones and iPads and things. So that seems to be working. But as you can see here, guys, I have a little external drive connected to my Mac Mini, which is how I'm using my entire user account is on this Mac Mini. Like this entire user profile is on this external drive, and it just kind of dangles off my Mac Mini. And that's the setup I've been using for like almost 2 years now. So that is why we're upgrading to this Mac Mini, and we're upgrading the storage inside of it up to 4 terabytes so that we just have enough to not have a weird dangle drive that sometimes disconnects, so that we just have everything in one place and it's like very professional and ready to go, and no weird asterisk drive or nonsense going on. So very excited about that. And I might, now that I've done it on this one, I might upgrade this SSD on this base model Mac Mini up to 2 terabytes at some point in the future, but I'll probably wait for SSD prices to come down before I do that. But I digress. That is why I'm doing this, and I'm really excited to be off of my weird external drive. It's been disconnecting a lot more recently, so I'm just ready to be done dealing with it, is kind of where I'm at. Oh my gosh, it worked. Please disconnect the restored Mac from this Mac. Okay, gladly. It has been unplugged, and now it will boot. Potentially. It just chimed. We have no signal right now, but maybe we'll get one. The first time it boots, it might take a minute. Categorize everything. Hello. There we go. Just like that, M4 Pro Mac Mini with 48 gigs of RAM and now a 4 terabyte SSD. I'm sure it's possible for me to plug this drive in and migrate all the data over. We'll see what happens when I plug it in during the setup process. if all goes well, I will let you know on screen if I was able to edit this video on my new Mac Mini for this week. Otherwise, I'm just gonna edit on the old one more time for the good old times. And then I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.